Would you like to be somebody who knows what makes a man attractive to women? Then listen to this entire video where I explain that depending on what the traits are, that increases the survival rate of a man. Those traits are what make him attractive to women. So before we get into this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, Jungian psychology, and how to reduce suffering in life. Let's get into it. So there are many videos on YouTube that give advice on how to be more attractive as a man. It's always the same stuff. It's like, be more confident, be masculine, be outgoing, hit the gym. But all these videos miss the fundamental reason why these tips make a man more attractive. I will explain in this video the core, the instinctual explanation for what makes a man attractive or not to women. You can use the following explanation as a proxy for every discussion on whether a certain trait makes you more attractive or not. You can use it when reflecting on certain behaviors you've acted out in the past and whether they made you more attractive or not to women as a man. Okay, let's do this. So you need to understand that the people alive today are biologically not very different from the humans that were alive thousands of years ago. We have the same instincts and embody the same primordial desires. As a species, we aim to survive. You know, our genes are configured to increase the rate of our survival in order for us to propagate our genes and keep the species alive. Now, according to Darwinian theory, as time progresses, those humans who have certain traits that enable them to survive better obviously remain alive and have the opportunity to reproduce and are encouraged to reproduce. Whilst those humans with traits and behaviors that reduce their reproductive fitness, obviously, I mean, it sounds a bit harsh, but you know that the genes die off essentially. Now, you also need to understand that you're the product of genes that have been very successful at surviving in the past. You need to imagine the millions and millions of people who have not survived, who did not reproduce their genes because they either didn't find a partner to reproduce or passed away before they were able to reproduce because of certain circumstances or their behavior or whatever. You are the product of people who have been very successful at reproducing and surviving. Thus, your genome is coded in a way that makes you think and behave in a way that is fairly good at surviving. But what does surviving constitute exactly? Survival means your ability to reproduce and raise healthy offspring that are equipped with the tools and mindset needed to reach a certain level of well-being in life that enables themselves again to survive and reproduce their own offspring. So it is about finding a healthy partner, being able to produce genetically healthy offspring, and then raising them that they are able to take on the challenges of the world and survive. Because this is the fundamental instinct in humans, and it is deeply coded in the human genome, whatever personality traits, behavior, general characteristics increase your rate of survival, that makes you attractive. Because these traits increase your reproductive fitness, which is what females are instinctually attracted to. Because they are unconsciously seeking men to connect their genes with and produce healthy offspring. That is it. So I'll give a quick example. Confidence is so attractive because it indicates that you are able to be comfortable in many situations. That is good because if you are uncomfortable, your body would experience stress. Now, stress produces cortisol in your body, and cortisol depreciates your body at a faster rate. It increases your risk of many diseases like heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, which essentially threaten your survival because they can make you, well, die earlier. And if you're stressed out, your rate of depreciation increases. Whereas if you're relaxed and confident, you're not subjected to that threat of survival. And this also affects your ability to raise healthy kids. Like, if the kid's dad is anxious all the time, the kid might, emulate that behavior and become fearful and timid also. then the kid won't want to go on adventures and fight dragons. And the survival of a society depends on courageous men or courageous people who are willing to face the problems that pose a threat to the survival of the society. You see where this is going? It's all about survival, which functions at a deep, unconscious level in your mind. It is those traits not only that make your ability to raise the kids in a healthy way, it's not just those traits, but also traits that help society progress and increase the standard level of living. That's what it is. And you know, most women don't even know that they're instinctually attracted to those things that enable or increase the rate of raising and producing healthy offspring. That's what it is. And let alone men know that. And we've been evolving for millions of years, and the instinct to survive is the most fundamental one. It is so primal. It works autonomously whether you like it or not. Period. So whenever you're reflecting on what would make me more attractive, always think, does this trait, does this behavior increase the rate of my survival and help the rate of the survival of the society I live in? And then you will know, I would say. Now, one needs to be careful because just because it makes you seem more attractive and increase the rate of your survival doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing. This is what we call a naturalistic fallacy. It's the idea that, well, because humans have evolved in such a way, people think, well, that must mean it is the right way, it is correct. That's not necessarily the case. Just because humans have evolved in a certain way does not mean it is, let's say, ethically sound. And one more thing I want to say, you need to think of survival in degrees of well-being. Survival is not necessarily a binary variable, like you're either dead or you're alive. It's more, you're either dead or you have different degrees of well-being, like you're barely surviving, you're kind of surviving, you're surviving, fairly pleasantly, or you're thriving, and you want to be further up in those categories of well-being. That's what makes you most attractive, I would say. So in conclusion, the traits and behaviors and personality characteristics that make a man more attractive to women are those that enable him to produce and raise healthy offspring together with the women, because that works at such a fundamental instinctual level, and women are attracted to that unconsciously. So please leave a comment below whether you think there are any other sort of fundamental explanations for why certain things make a woman attracted to a man that does not have to do with survival, whether you've come up with any other ideas. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, Jungian psychology, and how to reduce suffering in life. Thank you for listening.